This is 17-year-old Carlos Hallowell, and he has just told the detectives that he walked into his mother's bedroom, and he discovered that she had been murdered with an axe while she slept.
So you mean to tell me you didn't hear the intruders come in at all? The dogs didn't start barking? Your mom didn't cry out for help? Nothing out of the ordinary happened. You just woke up and she had an axe in her head? Do you know how outlandish that sounds? That only makes sense to you. You know that, right? Oh, what do we have here? Today we have teen realizes his murder was caught on camera. Damn. Thank you guys for tuning in. And without further ado, let's get it.
Okay, my mother and I came back from the funeral, had lunch together, we had pie together, and the last time I saw her was around 2:30, 3. We both went to our separate rooms to take our naps for the day, which is what we normally do. And then about a couple hours later, I don't remember the time, I hear barking from my side of the house, which is abnormal. Our dogs are supposed to be in that little fenced-in area. So I walk out to the front door. My mom's door is closed as always, but she does let the dogs out every now and then while she's taking a nap to just let them go to the bathroom. So the front door was wide open. I figured she might have forgotten to close it. I looked outside. Our dog, the 2 green gates that you guys walked through, are completely open. So went to go find the dogs, checked around the property, looking for them. I couldn't find them, so I went to go wake my mom up to help me find them, and then I found her there.
So when you guys normally take spaces, do your naps, you guys don't talk to one another?
No,
or?
it's very common for us. We just like to have our own time throughout the day, because we do bicker and argue when we spend too much time together. So.
Three, two, one.
We've learned how to cope with it and just give ourselves space, and we get along fine.
Did you guys bicker, argue, anything today?
No, today was fine. Completely normal day. In fact, it was a really good day. We got pie. That was a special treat.
When you guys do bicker, what do you guys go bicker about?
It's small things, school, getting a job, or when I'm gonna see my girlfriend too much. She's just small things, just like that. It wasn't any big fights or anything like that. It was just back and forth.
When was the last time you and your mom got into an argument?
I ain't gonna lie to y'all. This Crustables PB&J is busting like kissing cousins, y'all.
A while ago. I couldn't even tell you when. We've been fine since I moved back into the house.
You moved out?
I did. For a period of time, my mom was really upset with me because I wasn't following the path of school and everything, so she told me if I didn't get my act together, she'd ask me to find somewhere else to live for a little bit until I got my stuff together, and then I eventually did.
When a murder takes place, detectives will usually look at the people closest to the victims, then work their way out. The first thing they look for is motive, and Carlos has just given them exactly that.
They're saying things have gotten better between you two?
Yes, definitely. My mom and I have always had a very close bond, and a lot of people didn't really understand me and my mom, and we've been through a lot together, so, I mean, there's nothing I wouldn't do for her or anything, so I just don't
Obviously, because you killed her.
know what happened. I was completely confused. Doors were open. It was completely unusual, but her door was still closed. And then when I opened it,
What do you mean doors were open?
front door, and then the gates were completely open, which never supposed to be like that.
So what did you see when you walked into your mom's room?
It was our axe in the side of my mom's, and I could still hear her trying to breathe.
Huh?
You say you had a strange relationship with your mom and your friends didn't understand it. What you mean about that?
Well, my mom and I, the way we showed each other affection was odd to some of my friends. It was just the way we interacted with each other. Like,
What do you mean by that?
we would go days without speaking to each other, and then one day we'd be like, "Yo, you want to go watch a movie or something?" And then we'd go watch a movie. That was just us being us.
What do you mean by that affection, though?
Like, it just every now and then we'd say "I love you" or something like that, or just a fist bump. Like a lot of my friends, they were like, "Oh, we tell my mom I love you every night. We see her all the time." Blah blah. Well, we weren't really like that. My mom and I were just independent people. She liked to have her own space. I like to have my own space, and we just met when we did, and whenever we felt like we wanted to, just kind of hang out
This don't even sound like a mother and son relationship. This sounds like a whole relationship.
with each other. We did, and we made it work. It's been amazing for 13 years.
There's nothing wrong with that, right?
No,
I
it's
don't know why your friends thinking that's strange about
well,
it.
they don't. They just think that that's not correct affection or something like that. I don't know.
After talking about his relationship with his mother, the detectives move on to the elephant in the room. Who killed Carlos's mother and why?
So let's talk about your mom.
Okay.
Obviously, we're not looking at an accidental situation here, right?
Right.
Somebody put an axe in the back of her head. Who would have done that?
I don't know anybody who would have done that. All my mom's close friends, anything would be people at church. This is the only people that I know.
She don't have any enemies?
Not that I know of. She
People that
kept to herself. So
you guys are kind of...
She birthed them. She birthed the enemy. So let me get this straight. Your mom dies or is getting attacked and you don't hear nothing. You don't see nothing. Dog's not barking crazily. Nothing alerts you that something is wrong. She don't scream for help. Cause if somebody else would have did that, she would have been screaming for you. Like, come help me. I just find this situation very odd. And then again, he's not showing no emotion whatsoever. Coincidence? I think not.
They're in the middle.
yeah, we're in
Nowhere.
We're in the middle of nowhere. We just keep to ourselves. We put signs up because we've had small intruders, and then we hear noises at night. So she just puts all that stuff up for safety. So I don't know.
She hasn't had any problems with anybody?
Not that I know. She also stays private from me as well.
No boyfriends or anything? She had issues with boyfriends or?
Not that I know. If she did, I didn't know about it.
When was the last time she ever had a boyfriend come over or anything like that? Ever did?
Never, not since I've been home. So I had no idea who would come into my house and do that. Because I didn't have any enemies. I got along with everybody. My mom didn't either. The whole church knew us. Everybody knows us.
So then what? You see her? What happened? What was your reaction? What was it that you was trying to...
Originally, I was shocked, but then I ran to her, shaked her a little bit, and then I could hear her breathing, and then I just started crying, yelling out, "Mom."
So have no idea, nobody.
No, that's what's been
that's the thing. The gate in front was locked.
correct.
The back doors were locked.
It wasn't locked. It's a
Bungee cord.
The hooks. They're just
Yeah.
hooks. They can be undone and done again
Yeah.
in seconds. I just don't understand
No forced entry.
what happened and why I didn't hear anything. Because usually the dogs will bark at the slightest things, but I didn't
Yeah.
even hear them bark. And if they did, I was sleeping.
I think the reason that they didn't bark is because the person that did it, they knew.
So back door's locked, front gate's locked,
Correct.
back gate is locked.
After listening to Carlos tell his version of events, detectives are not convinced that a random person walked into Carlos's home and killed his mother with an axe. For the first time since
Not with him being there. Do you know how protective we are of our moms as boys? Boy, we'll die.
the interrogation started, the
Unless we the one that's doing the killing.
detectives begin pointing their fingers at Carlos.
Carlos, how often do you think it is that somebody's sitting in their house taking a nap or anything like that situation and some stranger comes in and kills them?
I don't know, but I will say this.
It don't happen much, but
I hope you're not insinuating I would do this. Because she adopted me from 4. She
oh, there it goes. Not your biological mom. You piece of shit.
has been my mother, has been by my side. I
What
would
my
never do
inference
anything.
is that That rarely ever happens.
Okay. I
That
don't
rarely
know
ever
that.
happens, and what I'm trying to lead to is that 99.9% of the time, it's a family member
Okay.
or a close friend or
We don't know anybody.
or a lover or something like that. Well,
Mr. Lava.
you got real defensive when thinking that I was accusing you of something.
Facts. That was very off.
Yeah, because that's what happened last time when I was talking to cops. Is that
Last
they
time?
assumed with the DCF case.
Mhm.
So I vary a little bit.
That's not the only time you've had conversations with cops. I
Oh
mean,
no,
Ooh.
no, definitely not. I've had way more.
Right.
On the property, blah blah blah, between my mom getting in fights and stuff like that. But
right.
You was fighting on her, and you a whole boy. What?
Not too long ago, you guys got into a little domestic, and the cops were called.
domestic, no, my mom and I sorted that out. That was completely gotten
I don't like him. He has an explanation for everything. Even though he's still a kid, he's very narcissistic.
out of hand, and then my mom overreacted, I overreacted, and we talked about it after it happened and after I was out of the house.
Right. Was that before you left or after?
Before. And I wasn't doing well in school, and then we got into the argument, and then she shoved, I shoved, back and forth, stuff like that.
You shouldn't have never put your hands on her.
Right.
It wasn't anything physical. It was just like, get out of my face, you get out of my face, get out of my face. Because it just got yelling. It wasn't going on.
I don't know. Something ain't right with this.
The detective is about to bluff Carlos and tell him that his neighbors told the police that they had heard Carlos and his mother fighting earlier that day.
So what were you guys arguing about today?
We weren't arguing today.
The neighbors heard you guys arguing today.
So you gonna sit there and lie to these cops' face?
About what?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you about.
What neighbors? 'Cause
Which
we-
neighbors do you think?
I don't know, because we haven't argued at all today. We were
No.
good. No, today we were all fine.
You weren't there very long.
No, we were there in the morning. We were fine, and then we went to the funeral, which
Right.
everybody saw us there. We were fine, and then when we went home, we were fine.
Was there any reason why you guys would have gotten loud about something? You got loud?
No, we weren't loud at all. This morning we were calm. She woke me up.
How about the afternoon?
No, there's no yelling whatsoever. When we went to bed, it was just that. Today we were fine, like nothing.
Somebody had to come into that house and do what they did to your mom.
Okay,
Facts.
I can tell. I know that.
Right.
What I'm trying to say is, if I'm going to open the door, the dogs are there. They're going to go, they're going to sit there, go crazy and barking.
All right.
Like, explain that. If I'm going to open the door, I can't run that fast with the dogs.
I don't know. You guys are detectives. Aren't you supposed to figure this out? The doors are open on the side. The gate doors are open, so the dogs are everywhere. And the front door is still open. So I have no idea.
Yeah, he guilty. You see how defensive he getting? Why are you getting so defensive when they just asking you questions? Why are you so quick to just pop off? Why are you quick to just jump off an impulse? Did you jump off an impulse when you killed your mom? Because that's what it seemed like. It seemed like you didn't have control over your emotions. You get what I'm saying? And it wasn't no man in the house to teach you how to regulate this if it was just you and her. But my thing is, you say y'all got to a shoving match. Why would you put your hands on your mama? Boy, if I tried to push my mama back or act like I was going to do something to her in any type of way, boy, she would have sent me to the upper room. You hear me? She would have sent me to the upper room. Boy, I wish the fuck I would, boy. You ever heard that saying? I bring you in this world and I take you out. My mama made sure she let me know that type of shit. I wish I would.
How it got there. I want to know how it got there, and I don't want to know why. I do not know. And I want to know. Because for some reason, my dogs have been let out where they won't bark and won't do anything because they run off. As soon as they're out of that gate, they will run off because that is the only time they get outside of that gate, or else they're stuck in that gate. So I don't know what you guys are trying to get out of me right now, but I
Why'd you kill your mom, bro? That's all we want to know. Why did you kill her?
didn't do anything.
Your adopted mom, the mom that actually wanted you when your other mama ain't want you.
And would never
I guess the birth mom dodged the bullet. Shit.
do anything to my mother like that. As much as we used to bicker and get back at each other, fighting sometimes, and then peace, and then back and forth, and then peace again, never in a million years would I ever think to do that. She's my mom. I was adopted at age 4, and I've been with her forever. And if you're insinuating that, I'm very
13 years, bro. That's not that long.
offended
Yeah, 13 years.
by that.
You're putting on a pretty good show.
A show?
Yeah, you're putting on a really good show.
I like this detective, y'all. I ain't gonna cap to you.
Show.
Yeah,
How is this a show?
because I remember the whole interviews with you back when all this went down.
You remember that?
Yeah, I was in charge of the major crimes unit then.
Okay.
So, and I remember that CPT talking about how your attitude of things were very sociopathic,
Sociopath.
which is exactly what you're showing me right now. And you're trying to act like you're upset about something.
Trying?
Yeah.
Okay, how is this trying? That was my mom.
The way that you're trying to show emotion for your mom is just fucking fake. Let's just be real about it. Don't you guys agree? Layla, JJ, Queen, Rena, Sanger, don't you agree that his fucking demeanor about this whole situation is very off-putting? It don't feel right. Do it feel right to y'all? Because it don't feel right to me.
My mother.
Right.
So trying. How is this trying?
Because you don't feel like normal people feel.
I don't
That
feel
part.
like normal people feel.
Yeah. That's what a sociopath has the issues with.
Okay,
But you try to.
so you're calling me a sociopath?
You are?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. This is what sociopaths do.
Well, do what?
I've just been sizing you up the whole time. And
Okay.
it's like 100%.
Okay, you can size me up.
You don't have normal feelings.
You can size me up all you want. I do have normal feelings. I loved my mom. Ask anybody in this county. They can attest to that.
Do you think that people that love one another don't do the most extreme things to them?
Not like that. No.
Yes, they do. Yes, they're actually. Have you ever heard that saying, a prophet has no honor amongst his own? It be your own people that kill you and do you the worst.
It happens all the time, every day. That's what I just told you earlier, that it's usually like a loved one.
Okay, I would not do that. You ask anybody in this county. My mom and I were amazing. We would never do such a thing like that to each other at all. My mom would never hurt me like that, and I would never hurt her. You call me a sociopath or whatever you want, and I'm sorry for getting upset. But you, please.
No. He just read you like a book and opened you up for the next person to view you.
Ask around. Ask anybody. They
We're
will
going to ask everybody.
ask everybody. They will attest that I would never do that.
Carlos claims that he and his mother would never become physical towards each other, but then the detective points out a violent incident that took place a few years prior. Carlos had attacked his mother, and instead of pressing charges, she told him to move out.
Domestic issues.
Oh, so that's why you moved out. It's making sense now.
Happen all the time.
Okay, well then it happened. It happened.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
We
it
don't need
didn't.
to get into
Okay.
the nitty gritty of it.
I'm not
but-
saying it didn't happen. It did happen.
Right.
She didn't press charges. She just had me move out. And that was it. And then finally I moved back in. We've been fine. Which Stephanie and Damien, the people I was staying with, they got mad at me because I decided to get back with my mom and try to make things work out. And we did. I moved back in.
But you haven't been back in very long. Can you understand why we see
Yes.
certain
Okay,
things?
listen, I do understand. I do understand that it's out of nowhere, but please, I know you said you're going to ask everybody. Everybody. So please ask everybody. Because they will tell you I would never do that to my mom.
We're going to ask everybody. We're going to hit every angle, and you're part of the angle.
That's okay. That's okay. And I can firmly tell you I would never do that to my mom.
And listen, we've been doing this. I've been doing it for 25 years.
Yeah.
You've been doing it for almost 20 years. Everybody's instinct first is to lie or come up with a story.
All right. I did not do that to my mom. But she hasn't always been the best mom. But I would never
So what does that mean?
go to that extreme. Ever. The domestic thing was me defending myself. She hit me with my keys and got me right in the eye with a little hook, and I just shoved her on the ground. But I would never go to this extreme. Ever.
Is that a normal thing, or is that just a one-time deal?
No, it's happened quite a few times. It's kind of, I don't know. She's very verbally abusive, and when we go around church, we act all nicey because we usually are. We get over it. I get over it pretty quickly. I try not to think about it. But she was very verbally abusive and sometimes physically.
Do you not see how this is points right back at you, bro? Like you talking about how y'all got into it. Y'all had this weird relationship, right? Y'all just got into it before a funeral. Who the fuck get into it with their mama before a funeral, bro? Then the reason why you got kicked out, it was for a domestic problem, and she asked you to leave, right? How do you not see that this points right back to you, bro? You got to get your head out your ass because your life is on the line now for something that you did that you can't take back because you acted out of impulse and emotion instead of logic and understanding and walking away from the situation. It is so much easier, bro, just to walk away instead of trying to prove yourself right or you're wrong. Like my people, like I guess I come from the old age because it wasn't no talking back to your mama and your pops. You know what I'm saying? Like, my uncle's finna whoop my ass. Goddaddy finna whoop my, like every male figure that's in my life was gonna be my, if I ever decided to go get into it with my mama, boy, I wouldn't be able to breathe right now if I did some shit like that.
Never take it to this extreme, because no matter how much we fight and how much abuse she did give me, I still loved her very much.
I've heard that 1,000 times. I still love. That doesn't take away love. One split-second decision of an accident does not take away love.
Well,
Facts.
no, I would not hurt my mom like this. No, the worst I have was when I broke her wrist, and
You what? Nah, I know you lying. You telling me that you? Nah, hell no.
Accident.
Correct.
So this is years and years of that, man.
But I would never do this to her ever. I mean, I
Wow.
never imagine hurting my mom like that. Even with through all of it, I couldn't imagine doing that. Because she's the only family I have. I have no one else to turn to.
The detective spends the next 2 hours talking to Carlos. He attempts to appear on the same level as Carlos by admitting that he too was abused as a child. His goal is to connect with Carlos and hopefully get him to admit to killing his mother.
Alright, I'll talk to you
At
later.
the end of the 2 hours, the detective isn't any closer
It's
to a
not even a
confession
thing.
than when he started. Carlos was allowed to leave while the investigation continued. A few days later, detectives bring Carlos back to the police department for another interview. During their investigation, they found physical evidence showing Carlos has been
Damn. Cut off my lights in my room. Three, two, one.
continued. A few days later, detectives he attempts to appear on the same level as Carlos by admitting that he too was abused as a child. His goal is to connect with Carlos and hopefully get him to admit to killing his mother. At the end of the 2 hours, the detective isn't any closer to a confession than when he started. Carlos was allowed to leave while the investigation continued. A few days later, detectives bring Carlos back to the police department for another interview. During their investigation, they found physical evidence showing Carlos has been lying.
Any other cameras at all? Any cameras inside?
Not that I remember. My mom was,
remember?
not that I remember. My mom said something about having a camera, but I've gone back to the house, and you guys have thoroughly gone through it when I got back there and saw.
She caught this shit on camera? Oh boy, your ass going to jail.
I still didn't find any cameras. The
Did you
only
find
one
it?
I knew was already taken
Yes.
out.
Did you find it?
There's a sign that we had that says surveillance, and we had.
Oh my God. Did you go in the laundry room? Hello?
Huh?
Did you go in the laundry room?
Oh, I thought
Well, oh my God. Slow. We act so slow sometimes. 3, 2, 1.
Multiple cameras up at the house, but they all got weathered out and broken.
Mm-hmm.
So we just left up little lights that look like cameras, and they're all kind of hidden in the trees and stuff, where it's kind of hard to find them. So my mom was always very private with that kind of stuff.
What other cameras in there?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
Sure.
Yes, it is. Those are just whatever my mom did.
What Carlos doesn't know is that investigators searched a lake that was very close to his home, and they found his mother's cell phone, along with 3 cameras, lying at the bottom of the lake.
Okay. And then her phone you never seen?
No, I haven't seen her phone. I do remember that. I don't remember if I made note of that. I didn't see her phone in her room when I walked in. It's usually right there. It's plain as day. You can see it. All her electronics sit on that one little table.
The axe, where did the axe come from?
Shed, probably.
Where's everyone normally kept it?
It was either inside the garage or in the shed. Pretty sure it was in the shed this time.
All right, you know we have a dive team, right?
Yeah.
And then we searched the entire lake behind there.
Okay.
Will we found anything out there, you think?
No, nothing.
Nothing to know of?
No. Probably old hooks, fishing poles.
It's common we do find lake bottoms.
Yeah. That's
Anything else
about
you think about find out there?
it.
I need you to be completely honest with me, because I'm trying to help you.
Yeah, I definitely understand 100%. Yeah, no.
Boy, he not trying to help you. He trying to take your ass to jail.
The detective is handed a box that contains the cameras and the cell phone that divers found at the bottom of the lake.
See, does that look familiar to you?
You can't be that fucking stupid. I know you can't be that stupid to go and throw everything behind in the lake. You couldn't have went to a different place.
I know it's taken apart.
Is that the camera that's hanging up?
That was outside?
Yeah, it's facing towards the...
See, does that look familiar to you?
No, sir.
Remember the small cameras you said were in the house? This
Yeah,
camera
just
was
one.
inside of here.
Okay, then yeah, it's one of the ones that are facing towards the window.
Guess how many we found?
How many?
How many do you think we would have found?
One?
No.
If there's only one in the house?
No, you know there's one in the house.
No, sir, I know of one.
And then, guess what else? What else do you think we could have found in the lake that day?
I don't know.
I'm just trying to ask you, if you just to help me out here.
Yeah, I understand, and I don't know.
You don't know what else we could have found out there?
No, I'm gonna assume her phone since she's got the camera.
Mm-hmm. Your mom's phone down by the lake. 3 cameras down by the lake.
Okay.
You see how this is stacking up?
I understand, but I'm still...
And the only way I can help you is if you come up front and say, we got a fight, it was a total accident, something like that. If that's what happened, then tell me the truth. I need to know that because I can't help you without that.
Right.
Because without that, it's just something horrible got done and you don't care about it.
That
Well, no,
part.
I definitely do care about it. I'm fairly pissed. It's just... It's not...
He not
I can only
pissed.
follow the evidence I have.
I
I
understand.
sent it to you before pretty much today.
I understand, but there's nothing that happened to where we got into a fight at all. There was nothing at all. That's the thing. It was a perfectly good day.
So you're gonna sit there and keep lying. That's what you're gonna do, right? You're gonna sit there and keep fucking lying.
We were fine, and I don't remember anything bad going on that day. It was all just okay.
Carlos begins to realize if the detectives retrieve the cameras, there is a good chance they also have the footage that was stored on them. Carlos decides to give up a little bit more information.
I don't remember what happened at all from when, like, from the dogs barking to finding my mom. And once I found my mom, I did panic. I quite, like, really bad, because it's just, mom's there, oh shit, panicked, and just grabbed the one that's facing the front door. I grabbed her phone and I grabbed the thing. The one that was up there. I knew about that one. And then I called 911 either before or after that.
His new story is that he blacked out right before finding his mother's body. Unsure of what he did, Carlos took the cameras and his mother's cell phone and disposed of them in the lake.
You know you just fucked yourself, right? You told us one story at the beginning of the interrogation, right? When they were just talking to you. Now that they found evidence, because they sent divers in there because they're not retarded, they sent divers in there to get this vital information. Now your story changes again. Man, just go ahead and admit to it, bro, because you just put yourself in a world full of hurt by lying and then changing your story. You're like, when somebody telling the truth, their story never changes. With everything they did, they usually tell you exactly what it is verbatim, back to back to back every time. You can ask them 8 different times how some shit happened and they'll be able to tell you almost the same way every time. But for the simple fact that you just changed your story when they presented you with this, oh boy, they finna cook your ass. Well done.
I didn't know. Honestly, truthfully, I didn't know if something did happen. I do sleepwalk sometimes. And then everything else, it's like
I sleepwalk to the fridge, but I ain't never sleepwalk to kill somebody.
Didn't know what happened because I woke up in my room. Just woke up, and it was like, okay, hear dogs barking, blah blah blah. Doors closed, slightly cracked open, front door, blah blah blah. It's just things that I didn't think were completely out of the ordinary. My mom's done them before, right? And other than that, I honestly 100% do not remember either what happened or not.
Because what do you think most people would do when they find somebody? That happened too.
Facts.
Immediately.
Yeah. Do you think throwing out cameras and cell phones first thing they're gonna think of?
No,
Why would they do that?
I don't know why.
That's what I want to know.
You know why
no.
somebody would throw a camera?
Only somebody that was guilty of doing some shit they had no business doing would have tried to get rid of evidence.
on a cell phone.
Well, of course to hide. I mean, to hide it, but I completely panicked. I mean, what happened between me and my mom when I threw her down on the ground, and I also didn't exactly remember that either. It was kind of like just, it happened. It was just
So you threw her on the ground. That's what you're saying.
boom, it happened, and all of a sudden my mom's getting up off the ground. I'm like, oh, okay, shit.
So you don't remember if you did it?
No, I don't. I don't remember anything from waking up to the dogs barking and then checking out everything, and
Okay.
then from when I panicked and found her.
And you sure you weren't an argument?
No whatsoever. I don't remember any single argument.
You see what it looks like though, right?
Yes, I do understand.
I'm trying to help you out here.
I know, I understand, and that was the biggest thing that's been weighing on my chest, was that I did panic and I threw out the cameras and the phone.
Do you realize that doesn't make any sense for anybody to do that's totally innocent?
Yes, I do understand. So that's what's been bothering me the past 2 months, is I don't know. I don't remember. Right, and I keep saying I don't remember what happened from then to then. I just don't remember that happening, anything happening at all. The thing is, here's the thing. I want to know. I want to know, because I want to know if that I blacked out and did this, and then
So I need your help.
I want to know. I don't remember. I don't remember from being in the garage to then. It's nothing. And I appreciate the way Ramos came at it. I didn't like the other detective, to be honest with you, the one that was with you the first day. He was calling me a psychopath and a sociopath that I don't feel anything. I didn't appreciate
But you felt that when he disrespected you, right?
that at all, with him making those assumptions before anything was even done. I appreciate the way you guys went through everything.
From a legal standpoint, saying I don't remember can be very strategic. It avoids direct self-incrimination while remaining difficult to disprove. It can also minimize perceived intent, which is a key factor in many homicide cases. In court, jurors often view outright denials as suspicious if later contradicted by evidence, whereas claims of memory loss can make a defendant appear more human and psychologically believable.
I said that was 2 nights prior, but like I said, I'm trying to help you try to remember, because that would help me with the case, because if you temper flare or something like that, I can work with that. But I need to have something to work with, because if not, it just looks like you did something out of pure hatred versus something.
No.
Facts.
That's why I need help.
Well, I don't remember, and that's the thing. Like, I knew that when you guys were interrogating everybody, you would see the flares and the temper things. But at the same time, that my mom and I had a special bond. It was never gonna break, and that's what I was hoping would stick, because I don't remember what happened from then to then. Yeah. So
He's a piece of shit. Just chalk it up. He put him in jail.
That's what, like I said, there's no other person could have done but you.
right.
And that's where I'm at. I'm trying to figure out why.
I'm also trying to figure it out too. Like, thinking back from when I came home, and it's pretty much.
You know why?
I'm so disappointed in you, which I've heard that before. Okay, blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, you being a fucking loser. And that's when it's like, okay, chill out. And then she kept going, kept going.
Despite claiming he did not remember, Carlos was found guilty of first-degree
Yeah, he did it.
murder, and he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Woo! Thank you guys for tuning in. Shout out to all my supporters. I love you. I thought I see myself on the screen. I was like, wait a minute. We on the big screen? But shout out to you guys. How did you guys feel about this? I didn't like his energy from the get-go, bro. Like, it was just something was throwing me off. I couldn't put my finger on it. But don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? The next pinned comment, if it's a pinned comment, because I'm running behind today. Pinned comment will be the next video premiere. Yeah, this was wow. Thank you guys for tuning in. Shout out to all my supporters. I love you. And that's it, baby. We out.